Hello everyone, welcome to this review for Attack on Titans chapter 71. This chapter mainly deals with Keith and his backstory. I thought that the 104 group would have problems finding Keith based on last chapter. I thought we'd spend a chapter or two looking for him, but no. The story is moving a bit fast and we immediately find Keith and straight away they start talking to him about his story. So not much happens in the first few pages, except that if you look on page 8, you notice that Keith doesn't have any facial hair there. So that must be a problem from the author. He forgot to draw his beard. Another thing that's interesting about this chapter is that it will be the first episode of season 3 for Attack on Titans, because the first season had 35 chapters. We assume that season 2 will also be another 35 chapters, and this is chapter 71. So this will probably be the first episode of season 3. Anyway, so Keith starts his story by finding Dr. Yeager, and he finds him in the middle of nowhere. And Dr. Yeager tells him, I have no memory. I don't know where I am and what's going on. But two things do stand out when Keith meets him. One is that he mentions there are very few Titans in the area that he met Dr. Yeager in, which means that he must have some sort of ability or something that makes the Titans avoid him. That's one thing. The second thing is that he says, Dr. Yeager says, you people, when he meets Keith, which shows that he doesn't consider himself a part of them, these people who are living inside the wall itself. So there shows that Dr. Yeager must have belonged to one of the Titan groups. We assume that there's two Titan groups. One is the Ymir's people, and one of them is the Reiner and Bertold and Annie's group, which are looking for the Monkey Titan. So we don't know. There might actually be more groups. We do know now that there's the Wall group of humans, there's the Titan group for Ymir, and then there's another group that Reiner belongs to. So anyway, we don't know which one Dr. Yeager belongs to, because he apparently has amnesia, and he's taken to prison, because if you're caught outside the walls without any identification or without any permit, you're taken to jail. So he's freed thanks to Keith, and he's taken to a bar where they talk a little about their future and humanity. And apparently Dr. Yeager doesn't know any of the concepts currently going. Doesn't know about money, about the problems, about the Survey Corps or anything. This further puts into evidence that he must have had like some sort of memory loss, because memory loss can occur in not memory loss, that he doesn't belong to the Wall people. Because sometimes you forget some things, but you're still able to remember others. Like he can remember he's a doctor, he can remember his name, but he can't remember anything else. But you should be able to remember concepts like money and mathematics, things like that. So the fact that he completely doesn't know these things shows that he's definitely not from there. And Keith tells him like, you'd be happy if you live here in the Wall. And when Keith thinks that he's different. He doesn't want to be like these people. He sees humanity that are stuck in the Wall as like being people in a bird cage. And when he mentions that, Dr. Yeager tells him that he's special for believing that. And for the first time, you see Keith seems to have hope in himself. However, that hope might not last long, because Keith loves Carla, who's Dr. Yeager's soon-to-be wife, or maybe past wife, now that you look at it from the future. And Dr. Yeager also likes her. So it's a bit of a sad story, because Keith likes Dr. Yeager and also loves the girl, but it seems they end up together. But before that, we get to see Keith's time in the Survey Corps when the leader of it dies and he takes his place. And apparently he just doesn't do very well at all. And even when Arwen suggests the long-range scouting division, he rejects the idea, which is a bit odd, because if you watch or read the Levi's chapters, he said Keith actually does adopt them eventually. So I'm not sure why he rejects them now. But the long line of death and problems does lead to Keith eventually exploding on Carla one day when he comes home, and she shows him her kid, and he tells her that you can't imagine what the world is, because you're insignificant and you're nothing. And this kind of reminds me of another character who exploded on a girl that he liked, a character who loves a girl and protects the girl's son and explodes on her. So any guesses on who that might be? Someone very popular? Yeah, I thought that Keith seemed very similar to Snape from Harry Potter in the way that they both seem to love a woman and protect her child afterwards. Anyway, so we see that when Carla does get killed, Aaron is found unconscious, and when he wakes up, he's surrounded by his dad and Keith, and he tells them that his mom was eaten by a titan. It's very interesting that Aaron told this to his dad and Keith. It's like, of all the two people in the world that he could have met and when he woke up. But I don't know, I just found that very fascinating. So Dr. Yeager says, I'm going to take Aaron to the forest and he'll avenge his parents, his mother specifically. And I'm not sure, we still don't know why Dr. Yeager, made Aaron eat him, because it seemed like he had a good amount of control of his powers and everything. So why he gave that all up to Aaron when he could have stayed with him and kept him safe, it's very confusing. But anyway, after this, when Aaron joins the Survey Corps for training, and Keith sees him, he says he has the same eyes as his father, not his mother like in Harry Potter, but like his father, and he worries that if Aaron, with the way he's so determined, he's just going to end up killing himself. And Keith, probably to protect him, he tried to ruin his equipment, but in the end, he noticed that despite ruining his equipment, Aaron, through sheer determination and effort, he managed to succeed in the end anyway, and was able to stand. Sure, he only stood for a few seconds, but did show that Aaron, maybe he's not outstanding in himself, he's not a genius, but he's a genius through his efforts. And Keith says that he feels like he's such a bystander because of this. He's never been able to change the course of the world by his own actions. So even by trying to protect Aaron and ruining his belt, Aaron still was able to join the Survey Corps and train in everything. So you can see why he has an inferiority complex. He feels he can't do anything. He wasn't able to save Carla. He wasn't able to marry Carla. He wasn't able to protect her when she died. He can't stop Aaron. So he's a very fascinating character, and I like that this chapter spent a lot of time just on him and his past. I expect we'll get a bit more panels next chapter about it. It doesn't reveal much, though, this chapter. Everyone had a very strong suspicion that Dr. Yeager was from somewhere else. He was not a wall citizen, and this was proven in this chapter. And apart from that, there's really nothing new, no new information, nothing we don't know about. It was fascinating. It was a good read. I'm glad this chapter's there because a lot of times flashbacks and history is done pretty badly. Not in Attack on Titan, but in other shows. So it was done very well. I thought it was really good. Doesn't really move the plot forward that much, but good chapter overall. Tell me your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. I hope you enjoyed my review. Comment, rate, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.